Most of the world reacted with horror to Hamas's savage attacks against Israel on October 7, 2023. The atrocities captured in footage shot by the terrorists themselves were not the sanitized remote violence of a video game, but gut-wrenchingly real. Women raped, babies impaled, men tortured and left to bleed out, survivors spirited away by their tormentors to a fresh hell of captivity. Scores of young revelers slaughtered at a music festival in southern Israel. And all of this was followed by scenes of the terrorists and the people of Gaza celebrating together in an ecstatic delirium of death and revenge. October 7th was the largest terrorist attack in the history of Israel and the equivalent of 13 9/11s in the United States. Some 1,500 highly trained terrorists had swarmed into Israel in automobiles, on motorbikes, and on hang gliders to kill Jews. While its targets were primarily Israelis, Hamas didn't care that others, Asians, Africans, Europeans, and Latin Americans, not to mention dozens of Americans, were caught in the violence. The goal was not victory in a territorial sense, as a rational person might understand it. It was genocide, the eradication of Jews, plain and simple. The elite Hamas terrorists were followed by a wave of Palestinian Islamic Jihad fighters, and then by Palestinian civilians, so-called, some of whom had been employed in Israel, who saw the holes in the security barrier around the Gaza Strip. These Palestinians ostensibly had no warning of the attacks, but spontaneously and enthusiastically leapt into the fray. Armed with knives and axes, they joined the violent mayhem and raped and murdered alongside Hamas. They also looted anything they could find, from motorbikes to women's underwear, some making multiple trips for booty. The Palestinians are not unsophisticated. They have smartphones, watch YouTube, and are beneficiaries of the largest single refugee effort in history, the United Nations Relief Works Agency, or UNRWA, as well as a host of other international non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, to the tune of billions of dollars of international aid. Yet their default mechanism is sadistic savagery. The question is whether their predilection for violence, which even their supporters acknowledge, is sociopathic, or is rather a legitimate, even laudable Palestinian tactic to achieve their goal of replacing the Jewish state with a Palestinian one, from the river to the sea. As the shock wore off, it appeared that October 7th was only the beginning of the most recent iteration of the war that has been going on for nearly a century between Israel and its Arab neighbors. Since the 1980s, however, Israel has not faced a direct military threat from an Arab nation, though its internal and external terrorist enemies have been supported by the Islamic Republic of Iran, which is responsible for 90% of Hamas's financing. It is no coincidence that Iran experienced a massive economic windfall from oil sales when President Biden stopped enforcing the Trump-era sanctions in 2021, and its funding increased to the point that Hamas could launch an attack on the scale of October 7th.